It's nearly afternoon. Happy nearly afternoon. Welcome back to your second hour of ScanNCut today, which is very exciting. Really exciting is the fact there's a couple of you bought ScanNCuts. I know, this morning. So congratulations. Those will be winging the way to you as soon as we can get them out. And they are sitting in our warehouse at the moment. So we've got stock of the Disney one and the SDX 1200. We've got lots of other stuff, and I've got a kind of a continuation of demos today because we've got new floral downloads. We've got existing digital craftorium, but as a download, and I'm combining both of them, and we're going to use them in different ways in all three shows. So make sure that you're getting those into your basket. Right, first of all, let's introduce you to our team. We've got Emily on cameras this hour, freshly back off her holidays. We've got Amber in the producer's seat. We've got Snoop in the director's chair. He's busy eating biscuits as we speak. And you've got me for an hour. Right, let's get stuck into housekeeping and then we can get on with the crafting, can't we? So first of all, let me tell you where you can watch us. You can watch us on YouTube, on your big TV, which I love. It's better, isn't it? You can also watch us on Facebook, Instagram and our website, which is highlightcrafts.com. If you're going to shop with us on either Facebook or Instagram, we're going to show you a product, and that product will have a code, and all you need to do to purchase that is type the word shop and then the code into the comments underneath the video. So super easy, and that will automatically pop that into a basket for you. Then we're going to send you a direct message, and when you click on that message you'll find a link. Click the link, that will take you to the website where I need you to log into your account and then check out your basket. Now then, if you haven't got an account with us yet, please open one. It's free to do so, but you automatically and for free get the benefits of becoming a Club Highlight member, which means that you get extra discount on all of your orders, loyalty points for every £1 that you spend, that you can spend along the way or collect them up, whichever you prefer. And on a basket spend over £35, we'll pay you postage. So it's all the good stuff, but none of the fees, which we like, don't we? I love that. And I haven't been able to find another website where you get discount on every order. And I've looked, believe you me, I've looked. Nowhere, can't see it. It's brilliant, isn't it? Now then, if you prefer to shop directly on the website, you can also do that. So simply pop over to highlightcrafts.com, click watch live, press play, and as soon as that show starts, all the items in that show will appear down the right hand side of your screen. You then simply select the ones that you wish to purchase, and they will go into a little red shopping bag that will appear at the top of your screen. And when you're ready to log in and check out, you're going to click on that basket and that will take you through that process. Also, just before you do check out your baskets, have a look on the website because we've always got lots of deals and outlet stuff and all sorts going on there. So make sure that you have a look for that as well. And also, if you're worried about missing out on shows, just type the word live into the comments underneath the video, and that will give us permission to send you a little notification to your phone before each show starts. The other thing you can do as well is shop ahead from midnight. That's always quite a good thing to do because sometimes by the time we come to wear, there's no product left. I know, so we need to be fast as fingers first. Right, Gordon says we're not on Instagram. Oh, she's trying to refresh it. There you are. There we go. Second hour of ScanNCut, love it. I know, we're good here, aren't we? We do try and keep to our word, but occasionally we have to switch stuff up because we're a business. Right, shall we start at the beginning? Let's start here, a floral collection. Now, a few months ago we brought in, in fact I bet it's over a year ago now, good grief, I don't know where time's gone, do you? We brought out a selection of dies that would only ever be a gift with purchase. Okay, so you bought something, paid X amount, whatever it was, and then you got the free die. And we said we'd never bring those out as dies, and we haven't. But what we have done is brought them as SVG files. I know, a bit sneaky for me, but I like it. Right, so let me introduce you to this. So you're going to get your Bird of Paradise. You're also going to get your Edelweiss. You're going to get Marigold. You're going to get Primrose. And you're going to get With Love. Okay, so you're getting all 5. Now we give you them in 3 different sizes. We give you all the artwork. We give you the reverse of that artwork. We give you the decoupage layers for that artwork, and we give you all the detail designs as well. So if you wanted to foil on top of them or draw them or emboss them, you can do that as well, which is great. And I like this because we can never have too many flowers. And I'm going to show you different ways of using it. Okay, so tonight at 6 o'clock, we're going to do something that we've never done before, which is really exciting. 3:30 this morning, brain went, oh, I wonder if you can. I know, that's what happens when you live with a brain like mine. Shop Love is going to get you that for $14.99. Now remember, you'll get your discount off that, and then you're not going to pay any postage, and it's instant. Brilliant, that, isn't it? So $14.99 will get you that, and that's one that you're going to go back to over and over and over again. In fact, I've just seen some brand new rice papers that our Sam's been designing for David that would work brilliantly alongside it. Right, so Shop Love is your code for that one. Now then, earlier on today we had this as a USB. We haven't got it as a USB anymore. It's now a digital download, and this is one of my favourite digital craft drawings we've done. Oh, pardon you, Snoop. Is he all right? Yeah, no, he wants to come out and sit on his mum's knee. You do know you've made a rod for your own back there, don't you? Isn't he lovely though? It's gorgeous, isn't he? Right, so back to this. So what we did with this one was we gave you reflections artwork, and it was all based around hobbies and things that people enjoy to do. And you got all the artwork on there. But the reason I wanted this adding on to the show is what I'm about to show you. So first of all, your card shapes. Now, we talk about card shapes, don't we? And yes, they can be card shapes if you want them to be, but you're getting 30 brand new shapes. And apart from the scallop, although it's a shallower scallop, I don't think there are many of these inside your machine's memory, if any. I don't think, from what I can see, they are. So, new. Brilliant. Now, not only are these your shapes, your card bases, but they're also your nesting shapes. So this is like buying 30 sets of nesting dies. So they become your card base, they become your aperture, they become a frame, all of those different things. You weld 2 of these together, you'll get something completely different, and you can start all over again. Now each one of these you will get, if you work like that, so if you take just that shape, take it into your machine, you can cut it from that big to the size of your mat. At least 250 different sizes, which is fantastic. And that's before you start to nest them as well, which is great. So you're getting all of those, and you get them in 6x6, 7x7, 8x8, A6, DL, and tall slim. So you get all of those, but that's not where it stops. That's just the beginning. Now then, last week we brought you designer boxes where you could put any pattern in any panel on any box. These you can do exactly the same. So if you bought this today, you could put any of these patterns in any panel on any box and use the patterns that you got with your designer for what we're going to do today. It mixes up, and what I'm trying to do is create a digital library for you, okay? Now you can also draw these, foil them, emboss them, paper pierced. And it sounds strange because you think, well, it's just going to be loads of dots. You still see the pattern. That's what's brilliant about it. Also, think about your stencils. You can have all of those as stencils, right? And you can put any pattern in any shape. So you could have your fonts that match this if you wanted to, which is just amazing. So you're going to get all of that, plus all that artwork that I've talked about with your reflections. So if I just show you the front of this box, you can see you've got things like steam trains on there, you've got nautical themes, you've got up in the air themes, you've got something for the little ones as well. You've got all sorts of different pieces of art on there with the cutting files. And then what we've done is colour picked from those to give you this lovely palette of almost like a wash background. They're really pretty, aren't they? So all of that today, my friends. Now this is brilliant value. It should have been $49.99. We had it in the outlet at £12.50. So we've kept it at that price for you. So that's outlet price, but you'll still get your discount. And again, you download this. As soon as you've checked out, you can download this and start playing with it because there's no postage. So if you want that one, shop download, £12.50. Right, let's have a look at some card. First of all, so there's a few of you bought this morning, which is great. Oh, another thing, just so that you know, there are 5 classes that work in conjunction with that on our YouTube channel for free. Just putting that out there. I know. For £12.50, £2.50 a class. That doesn't even include all those files. Right, now then, we've got Shop Dark. Now, if anybody ever asks me what kind of card would you recommend for ScanNCut, my answer is always the same, solid core. And that because if I tore this in half now and it had a white core, I wouldn't be using it. Well, you can use it on your ScanNCut, but you'll find you get that white edge, obviously, but also white core cardstock is made with chalk, and chalk will blunt your blades quicker. So a solid core is always worth it. I love the reds in here. For Christmas, these are going to be fantastic. So you're getting 50 sheets, Shop Dark, $27.99. If you would like the spring summer version, if you like, we've got your pastels in here. So you've got your lovely lemons and your blues and your pinks and your lilacs, and then you go into your fresh sorbet colours. So your purples, your pinks, your oranges, your yellows, and into that lovely zesty green. Shop Light will get you that for $27.99. Now we've just talked about Mylar, about stencils, using those designs as stencils. This is the Mylar that I sourced for you guys. It's 190 micron. It cuts brilliantly on the ScanNCut. Please make sure that your mat's nice and sticky with stencil glue. And also try and put your cut amount. So when you go into your settings, there's something called cut amount, and that will be the blade depth. So how far down that unit does that blade come? If you set that to 0.5 millimeters, it will cut this in one pass. Okay, if you try and do it on auto, it will do it, but because you've got plastic on a plastic mat with a moving blade and a moving platform and detailed pattern, sometimes if it shifts this a fraction of a millimeter, it's not going to cut in the same place. So make sure that you're doing it that way because it does make a difference. Try it on auto, try it like that, see which works for you. So if you want that, Shop Mylar, $14.99. So you can now make your own stencils, but you can have them in the size that you want when you want them. And I love that. You ever sat there and thought, oh, I could just do with a stencil to go down that side? Make your own. Now then, this was very popular earlier on today, and I'm not surprised. Our lovely Mitch described this as a grown-up colour palette, and she was absolutely bang on the money because look how beautiful those colours are. Now you're going to get 10 sheets. It's absolutely non-shed, and it cuts like a dream on your ScanNCut. It's brilliant. If you want that one, the irony is that it's non-shed, but the code is Shop Shed. It's really made me laugh this morning. If you want that, 10 sheets, $9.99. Right, I'm going to talk about the card and the pens, and then I'm going to talk to you about the machines, because we've got 2 options for you at the moment. Right, first of all, let's talk about the paper. So if you're wondering what I print off my reflections on, it is the 140, listen, 140 pure print, not premium pure print, please, because it will stick to your mat and you will not get it off. If that ever happens, so you buy a piece of card and the ScanNCut just grabs it, don't try and scrape it off, just take it to the tap, run it under the tap, let that water penetrate through that card and then scrape it off. Okay, it's kinder to your mat, it's kinder to your arm. So do that. But I always work on the 140 because we give you decoupage layers as a reflection. So if you're building that up and you're doing it out of 250, you can see that white edge as you build those layers and it doesn't look very nice. If you're happy with that, brilliant. Carry on. For me, properly fussy. This is fabulous. This is actually has its own drawer in our printer now, just for ScanNCut reflections. But this, honestly, brilliant product. You get 100 sheets for £12.99, and that's before your discount, so it's worth adding that in. Right, the pens that we had this morning with the 120 with the brush nib and the fine liners, I went to Stephanie and we couldn't get any more. I know, I'm gutted for you. But we do have this. And these, I have to say, you know, sometimes when you see fine liners and you're like, yeah, I'm not sure what they're going to be like. Or Amanda came in this morning. She's like, these pens any good then? Well, first of all, Amanda, they're on my show, so what do you think? She was like, yeah, fair enough. But they are really nice. So you're going to get your, almost like a chalk finish, like an opaque. Then you're going to get metallics. Then you get some that are a little bit brighter, like some of your fluorescents in here. And then all of these are glitter. And they fit in your universal pen holder. You will have to put some tape round, but that's the way that it is, okay? And I don't mind that, because then I don't have to buy another one for this and another one for that and another one for this. Just put masking tape round it. That's all you need to do. And then you've got 48 of your gel pens. I like these. They're a really nice quality. Sometimes you get gel pens and they're really scratchy and the ink doesn't flow. These are lovely quality, and I'm a proper pen snob, so for me to say that, they must be good. Shop pen, $29.99. Right, I want to talk to you about the SDX 1200 and the Disney, okay? So let's start with the SDX 1200 first of all. And I've done my maths. I like my numbers. I like numbers. Right, so this should be $599. That's the recommended retail price from Brother. Inside the box, you're going to get 2 mats, 1 low tack and 1 standard. You're also then going to get your regular auto blade and the housing, obviously. You also then get your fabric blade and housing. You get your Brother pen holder. You actually get 6 pens. The black one's been pinched off there. Somebody needed a black pen. So you get 6 of those, and you get these 2. So that one is air erasable and that one is water soluble. So when you're scanning your fabric in, if you want to cut a quilt block, you can scan it in. This will draw on your fabric and give you your sewing line, and then it will cut it with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. It's that clever. I know. Then you get your stylus and your spatula. And you also get a high contact adhesive sheet, which is for cutting fabric if you don't stabilise it. I'm going to be really honest with you. I don't bother using that. I just use my stencil glue because it holds it in place. I do allocate 1 mat for fabric. That's one thing I do, absolutely. And the fabric blade on this, guys, is absolutely exceptional. I mean, it's brilliant. Can't even see where it's cut. It's fabulous. Now then, what we've done with this is we've brought it to you at $499. Is it $499 or $499.99? $499. If you're in, so the way our club works is when you go into tier 1, automatically, so if you've never shopped with us before and you're placing your first order today, you'll get 5% discount, which equates to £24.95. Nice, right? Which brings the price down to £474.05. Then, in a couple of weeks' time, we give you points for every £1 that you spend here. And the reason we wait a couple of weeks is because that's our money-back guarantee. So we have 14 days money-back guarantee. So if you send it back, it saves us having to go in and adjust all your points. The points on this are worth £23.70. Okay, so I'm going to take that off the final amount because you're going to get those credited back. That brings it down to £450.35. Now, on top of that, inside the machine's memory, you're going to get 1,303 images, icons and shapes, 17 full fonts, and 100 quilt blocks. So you're going to get all of that content as well. But on top of that, with this particular deal, we're also giving you the 24 months worth, so 2 years worth, of the Tattered Lace digital subscription. Now, they were at full price £30 a magazine, so you're getting £720 worth of content. Plus, each card has a class, so it might not be a full-on, make it from start to finish, but you will have elements of classes for all of them. You also get everything that you need to make every single card. So I wanted you to have a ScanNCut magazine where you opened it up and you could make all the projects from the card base to the sentiment and everything else in between. And that's what we did with the Tattered Lace subscription. So basically, you're getting a fantastic machine with all the accessories to get you started and all of that content and education, which is brilliant. So if you want that one, it is Shop Brother and it's $499, okay? But you're not paying that. You're ending up paying $450, $35. Now, if you're in a higher tier where you get a bigger discount, that'll come lower again. Right, so that's your SDX 1200. Let me bring you over to this one because this is the Disney machine. So you're going to get all the accessories that you get for your 1200. So your fabric blade, your regular blade, your pens, your pen holder. But on top of that, you're also going to get the calligraphy starter kit. So a few years ago now, I went to Brother and I was like, it would be really cool if we could do something like the universal pen holder, but where you drop a calligraphy pen in and it locks at a 45-degree angle. Because when you're doing calligraphy, you've got that chisel tip and you hold it at a 45-degree angle. Anyway, they did it. So in the box, you're going to get your machine, 2 mats, everything that I've just shown you, but you're also going to get your calligraphy starter kit. You'll also get a little activation code on a card that you are activating Canvas Workspace, and that opens up lots of sentiments for you and fonts. There's an uppercase and lowercase font, I think. Now, the great thing about the calligraphy starter kit is if you go in and do the thank you, for example, and you draw out thank you, you can then scan that in, save it, and then use it as a cutting file. I know, right? So something that you thought just drew, you can now do out of vinyl, you can use it with your foil, and you can use it with your embossing, which is brilliant. So that comes as standard with the Disney machine, the 2240D. So on top of that, you get everything that you get in the 1200, but you get an extra 40 quilt blocks. So you get 140 quilt blocks in this one, plus you get 152. Right, let me do that bit again. Inside the machine's memory, 152 Disney designs, 1,163 shapes, not 1,303, 17 full fonts, and 140 quilt blocks. So you're getting all that pre-installed into the machine's memory. Now, on Brother's website right now, it's on at £777.77. I know, it's a weird number, that, isn't it? By buying it from us, we've got it at £549. You're saving £228.77. Then you get your discount off, which brings it down to £522.49. We then give you your points back, and that brings the Disney machine with the calligraphy starter kit to $496.37. That's a deal and a half. So if you like the idea of having Disney, you've got it there. Right, I think that's everything I need to do for now. So I'm going to go over to demo. Come on, let's have a look, see what we're going to do in this hour. I just need to grab, stay there, Emily, I'm coming back. I just need to grab these printouts. Do this every time, don't I forget. And why is that TV not working? Because the HDMI lead isn't in, that's why. There we go. It's all in the prep, Melanie, all in the prep. Right, there we go. Should be able to see now on the screen. Right, first of all, because we've had we've had a lot of you buy the machines recently, especially with that deal we had on the tattered lace one, which is all gone now, by the way. So no more calls for that. Now, I did put my stylus somewhere. In here? Yeah, next one. Oh, look at you. I've been looking everywhere for that. Like half an hour looking everywhere for it. Thanks, Amber. At least you tidied it away, right? Right, so part of the digital download, the floral one, is the Edelweiss. So I've gone ahead and I've cut out the Edelweiss. And now I'm going to set the decoupage going, okay? Because we're going to build a card based around this and the patterns that are on that digital Craftorium one. Please get that. And it's not very often I say to you, please get that. But it just opens up a whole world of creativity for £12.50 before you discount. It's blinking brilliant. Right, so USB. Let's pop that in here first of all. So you can put your files on a USB or you can import them into Canvas Workspace and send them wirelessly. The reason I do it this way is so that CM customers know that I'm not forgetting you. Absolutely not, because without you, this wouldn't exist. Right, so to get something off a USB, you're going to retrieve the data or the information. I wish they'd just put retrieve file, because that would have made sense, wouldn't it? It's tech talk, isn't it? Anyway, from the USB, and then we're going to go into our SVGs, okay? I've got With Love, and we're going to do the Edelweiss. There's no size on the reflection itself, so it will be the original size, and we want the decoupage layer for it, okay? So all of these are your decoupage layers. Now on this screen, all you want to do is just press OK, and then it goes on to what we call a workable mat. So now you can start to manipulate those shapes. So the first thing we're going to do is group all of those parts together. So one red box means that one shape is selected. 3 red boxes means we're going to select more than one. And we don't want part of the mat, we want everything that's on the mat. So we're going to click on that, press OK, go to Object Edit and group it together. And now we're going to scan this in, okay? We're not scanning it in so the machine can see it and find it and cut it out. We're scanning it in so that you can see it on the screen, and then you can line up that corner of your rectangle. And I just wanted to do this before we get into the more detailed bit, because I know we've had a lot of people buy it recently, and I don't want anybody sitting there going, I don't know how to do that, because I haven't told you, because that would upset me. I had a wonderful message from Michelle this morning on the tablet. Andrew read it out. She said she's sat staring at a ScanNCut for 4 years, and because she joined the club, she's now using it and loves it. That was like the best Christmas present or best birthday present ever, because it just means that you're getting the most out of what you saved up for, and I love that. I love it. I'm so happy. Right, so what we're going to do now is we're changing it, so we're going to go into Edit, and we're going to zoom in, and we're going to zoom in to 400%, because you don't need to see everything. All you need to see is that corner, and you're just literally going to drop that red cutting file over that black file that you can see on the screen, and then use your little arrows to nudge it in place so that that corner lines up. You don't need to worry about any of the other bits. They will automatically line up if that corner does. So we're going to press OK. Now we're going to go to Object Edit and ungroup those shapes. Now you'll notice that they still all have a red select box around them. So you've ungrouped it, now you need to deselect them, and to do that you just tap on the screen. It couldn't be easier, but that's the bit. In fact, I've taught 2 classes now. There's 2 things where people struggle. So first one is you go to Edit, and then it's like, but my resize isn't there. You need to then go to Object Edit. So it's Edit, Object Edit. And the other thing is not deselecting when you've ungrouped. That's the other thing that people get stuck on. I'm just going to click on the rectangle. I'm going to press OK, and I'm going to put that in the bin. And the reason I'm putting that in the bin is because you can see how close to the edge that rectangle is. Now, if we don't delete that off, it will weaken this piece of paper by that much. So I'm going to keep the rectangle intact, so it keeps the piece of paper intact. And then we're just going to keep going until we get to Please Select and Cut and Start. Now you'll notice I don't need to set the cut amount, I don't need to set the pressure. It's literally going to go along and look at it and then decide how much pressure it needs and blade depth. Right, while that's doing that, let's do this bit, because this is the bit that I wanted to show you. Now earlier on, it's not too different to what we did earlier on, but it is a little bit. And then I take it a little bit further. So I'm going to get myself comfy. I don't know what it is, but I can't craft it up. It's mad, isn't it? Right, so we're going to use this. And first of all, we're going to select a shape. And it is, let me find it. I do this all the time, don't I? Find it, number 5 in 7x7. Okay, I'm just going to make sure that that's flat, because then it won't catch on that machine. Right, so USB needs to go into my laptop. That would help, always helps. Like that. Amber, you know, yesterday we had those 2 USBs on at $14.99. Could could you add them to this show for me? Is that possible? Thank you. Because we like to sell blank ones as well, because we know they're compatible with your ScanNCut. Right, so to access these, there's a little button at the top called SVG, and when you hover over it, it tells you that you can import files. So we're going to choose the file, and when you choose the file, it opens up your computer. So I want card shapes, and I want, well, let me just go back and then you can see the process. So if I go into card shapes, go to 7 by 7, go to number 5, and that will open up that file for me. Okay, so I've now got 3 layers. That's the one we're going to use for this, and I'm going to move those 2 out of the way. Right, so what I want to do now is put a circle design inside there, but with one of the patterns in it. So this is a bit similar to what we did this morning. So let's move that out of the way for a start, and let's bring in our pattern first of all, and we're going to use the pattern that is, I need to remember to do this before we come on air, Melanie. Let me have a look at that one, let me find it for you. No, where are you? Oh, you little horror, where have you gone? There, number 10. There we go, number 10. Right, so we're going to do the same thing again. We're going to go to SVG, we're going to choose the file. This time we're going to go into patterns, and we're going to choose number 10. So we're going to scroll down here. We've had those USBs added for you now, and they're 8 gig each, so they're double what they used to be, but not double the price, which is great. Press OK now, and I've got my pattern. So the first thing we're going to do is divide this. So as I said this morning, the ScanNCut sees this as a square with all those pieces sat on top. What we need to do is make it one piece, okay? So if we grab all of this, and our Sean's got me a wired mouse, a mouse that works, which is brilliant. Love that. It was running away this morning. So we're going to select the square and the detail, and we're going to divide it, and that will punch that detail through that square and make it one piece instead of lots of pieces. All right, so you can see now it's just like die cutting. That's what it is basically. And then all of this for now we can put in the bin. All right, that's not deleting it off the USB or anything, that's just putting it in the bin. So the next thing we want to do is bring in the circle, and I want to work out how big I want that circle to be when it's inside there. So I want it a little bit bigger. You decide how big you want it to be, and I'm going to go about there, I think. Okay, and then I'm going to duplicate that just by right clicking and duplicate, and then I'm going to make this one smaller. Now you can be much more accurate than I'm being when you're at home. You've got the time to be able to do that. I just wanted to show you this. Right, so I'm going to move this out of the way, and I'm also just going to duplicate that just so that I've got another one. I'd rather duplicate it and not need it than not duplicate it and need it. All right, because that'll be really frustrating. So the first thing we need to do is make sure that that smaller circle is bang in the middle of the big circle. So if we select both of them and we go up to edit at the top, and we're going to align it so it's centrally vertically, and we're going to go to edit and we're going to align it centrally horizontally, so we know that that's bang in the middle. Now the ScanNCut sees that now as a big circle with a little circle sat on top. So if we divide that, it will then see it as a frame, and that's what we need to do. Okay, so we go to edit and we divide, and that gives me that punched out circle. Okay, so that tells you there, that's punched that through there. So now it sees it as a frame. So what I want to do now is put that pattern into here, and I know we did this morning, bear with, we're going to do more. We're going to grab both of these, and we're going to align this. Because that pattern is symmetrical, I want to make sure that I have symmetry right around that ring. Okay, so I'm going to click on the circles now, and I'm going to right click and send it to the back. Nothing changes on your screen. Okay, I need you to know that nothing changes at all on your screen, so don't expect it to, because I kept doing it over and over again in the hope that something would happen. I had loads of them at the end. So if we grab both of those now, and we're going to go back to edit, and in process overlap we're going to remove overlapped, and when you do that, it puts that pattern into that circle or that frame. Okay, so that's what we needed to do with that, and it's all joined together, it's all grouped, so you don't need to think about that bit. So the next thing that I want to do is put that inside of here, but I quite like the idea of having an aperture in the middle of it. So let's do this a bit at a time. Let's bring that on there and let's get that lined up first. This is where it differs from this morning. So we're going to grab both of those and we're going to go to edit and we're going to align those centrally vertically and centrally horizontally. So I know that's in the middle. And then I'm going to group that together, okay, just because I can. And then remember this circle that came out of the middle? Well, we might as well use that as the aperture. So if you go up to edit, these two little circles here is called create offset, and offset will give you the perfect mat and layer. Okay, so if we do 3mm inward, and we'll delete the original because we don't need that now, that will then give me a perfect circle that will sit in the middle of there and become an aperture. So let's put that in position as well. Let's drag all across all three, go to edit, align it centrally vertically, back to edit, align centrally horizontally. Now, if I try and weld to that aperture now, all that detail will disappear, okay, because it sees it sat on top. And the circle isn't overlapping these bits, and these bits aren't overlapping the outside edge. So if we divide this, that will make it one shape, and then we can do all of those things. So when I move that out of the way, you've still got that which will cut into your cardstock and that which will cut out, which is actually really nice, isn't it? It's lovely. I think it's a really nice way of using your different shapes. So let's get rid of all that because I don't need that anymore. And I thought it would be nice to put mum in the middle of there, or whatever sentiment you want to. So if we go back and we go into text and we go onto this font, this is my favourite font, I think, but there are more fonts in Canvas than you have on your machine, so check those out as well. We're going to click on that, and when it brings up on the text, you're going to double click and that will open up that bar, and then just backspace. Okay, so in capital letters I just want a mum, and then when you click off it, it'll turn it into that, so you can then resize it and scale it. So I'm going to make this smaller, and I've got my little piece here so I can have a look and see what I think. Yeah, that's quite a nice size. Now they're individual letters, so the first thing I'm going to do is duplicate that. So I've got two, and I'm going to create, so let's go to edit, I'm going to do a 2mm outward offset line. So I'm going to create a matte layer for that to sit on outward, and we can delete the original because we've already duplicated it. And what it does, look at this, it's joined it together, but it's welded it as well. Look, how cool is that? Didn't know it did that. 9.5 years on, still finding new things. Love that. Right, we're going to bring this in. We're going to select both of those, and we're going to align that centrally vertically. If I had £1 for every time I've said that, I'd be a billionaire by now, I'm sure. Right, but I'd still be doing this because I love it. Right, so what we're going to do now, because we've divided as we've gone along, we can now weld that to the middle of that aperture. So all we need to do is go to edit and weld it. And now I've got my aperture with my sentiment across the middle. These letters we're going to cut out individually because they're going to sit on top of there like that. And then this is going to become your card blank. It's cool, that, isn't it? Love it. I think it's absolutely fabulous. Right, let's put this card together, and then we can see at any point if I need to show you anything else to do with that. But I thought that was quite cool. So now we're taking a card shape, we're putting the pattern inside a shape that we've determined, and that can be any shape, and then we're welding to the middle because we've created an aperture. It's good, isn't it? I love it. I think it's so creative. And you'll have heard me say this over and over and over and over again, but when I first, because Canvas didn't exist when the ScanNCut first came out. And my first question when I was asked if I wanted to look at it and see if I wanted to demonstrate it was, does it need a computer? And it said no. And I was like, thank goodness for that, because if it did, I genuinely wouldn't be stood here now, because I didn't want to sit in front of a computer and craft. That for me was just not on my radar at all. However, as we've gone through the journey, I have absolutely fallen in love with Canvas Workspace, because when you think you've got to the end of your machine, you go in there and it opens up this whole world. It's absolutely fabulous. Now, with this, if we hadn't welded mum, you could have had another circle that cut out that could go in the middle and spin. But this is the basics. This is teaching you what you can do with those products that you're buying, with those files. And we'll never bring you SVG files just for the sake of bringing them. We bring them because we're building a digital library, and because I work with a fabulous team of graphic designers, and because I know what the machine needs to see, what I want it to see, and make it do what I want it to do, we can do that. So for example, we're looking at doing some files for Cricut, and we can't just do the same files, because Cricut needs them to be divided or compounded before it's imported into Cricut Design Space. Otherwise it splits it. So again, it's understanding what the machine needs to be able to do what it needs to do. But if we compounded them, that'd be great for us, because we could sell them to ScanNCut users and Cricut users and Silhouette users, and it wouldn't be a problem. But you wouldn't be able to do this, because you wouldn't be able to get to all that detail inside and play around with it and take a small piece and make a whole big stencil out the back of it. So it's important, we bring you them for a reason. And patterns are probably one of your best files to buy, because it's a resource. And then you buy your reflections, because that's your decorative elements, and you build up. Now this obviously is wider than it is taller. And I know that because if I try and put it on that way, it doesn't fit. So if it doesn't fit, make sure that you put it the right way around. Now I chose yellow and green, which is quite an unusual combination for me, but I chose it because I want to use this. And this is the Edelweiss. And when I put that on there, it just works perfectly with that colour combination. So that's what I chose, okay? So then we're going to bring in our frame, and that is going to go on top. So this is the card front, this is the card back, these are your mats and layers on the inside, okay? So we're going to do that. Now, what we did this morning was also create a frame. In fact, I'll show you that now. See, this is why I do a bit at a time, because I knew there was something else I wanted to show you, and I know a lot of you'll know it, but at one point in your time, you didn't. And there's a lot of people who still don't, so we're going to make sure that they do. So first of all, we're going to make it smaller, just because, bear with. It's having a thing today, I think, Canvas. I'll just keep it at the size it is. So all you're going to do is go into Edit and create a, let's start with a 5mm inward offset line, but this time you want to leave the original as it is, because you're creating a frame. And then you're going to press OK. So there's your frame, okay? We're then going to duplicate that. So we've got 2 there. Have I got 3 there? Is there another one hiding somewhere? Yeah, there. See, there was. Right, let's grab that's better. Go to Edit and align them centrally vertically, centrally horizontally. I should do that every time I say that. I should put £1 in a jar and just see how many times I say it in a year, shouldn't I? And then while we've got it there, we're going to duplicate it. Now you don't need to even group it to duplicate it, which I didn't know either, so that's good. I learned that a couple of weeks ago. Still. Right, outside edge. So we want to create an inward offset line of this, because I want a frame to sit on top of the frame. I know, right? Fancy. So we're going to make the outside edge, we're going to bring it in 1mm inward and delete the original and press OK. Then we're going to go to the middle one. Now it won't let me do that because it sees the big one sat on top of it. So right click and send it to the back, just like you do with Minecraft Studio, just like that. Then I'm going to click on that, I'm going to go to Edit, and we're going to create a 1mm outward this time, and delete the original. And now I've got a frame, if I group that together, will fit perfectly on top of that frame and sit with the 1mm border around the outside and the inside. So super easy to create frames. You just use your offset. If you're just doing that on your machine, you can do it on your STX, because the offset function is available as a button on here, so you don't need to go into Canvas. But as I've said before, CM users need to know how to do things as well, and that's really important. This is why my pin is so messy. I'm really naughty. Right, so I'm going to stick this onto here, and you can see that's exactly what I did, and now I've stuck this onto here, or I will do in a minute, and you'll see that it fits perfectly with that 1mm border. Okay, so I'm going to go around the edge. This is why I like the bookbinding glue, because it has that really nice fine nozzle, and we're going to work right the way along there, around that corner, down this side, and I hope that by the time we get to the other end it hasn't dried. Ever done that? I've done that when we're doing lots of big pieces and gone like blinking heck, we'll start again. Right, so let's make sure that this is in the right orientation, which it is. So I'm going to get one corner. I'm looking at the bottom edge here, I'm not worrying about the top edge at the moment. I'm going to get the corner in place where I want it, and then the rest should just fall in line. If only everything in life was that easy, eh? Like that. Amanda sent me a thing on Instagram last night. We're sending each other funny things, and it was a picture of about 3,000 ducks crossing a zebra, and she's like, this is me trying to get all my ducks in a row. And I went back and went, yeah, and that's only half of them. Right, so let's put this on to the front of our card now. So now that instantly brings your eye in to the middle area, which is where the sentiment is. It's clever, isn't it? I love a frame. It's just like if you went out somewhere now and bought a print. So you see an artist that you like and you buy a print, and you stick it, take it home and you stick it on the wall with blue tack. Still nice, you still like it, but it doesn't look as good as it could if it was with a mount and a frame. That's the difference. That's why I like going to that extra little level of detail, because it does make a difference. And my brain won't let me do it any other way. So we're going to pop this onto here. So I started with a 5mm inward like we did when I showed you, and that's going to press onto there like so. Okay, so then when we look through here, you've got the yellow behind. Now, I also, before I decided to do the yellow mat, cut a circle out of yellow that was just slightly bigger than the circle that we had as the aperture. So I made it a fraction bigger, so it just fits inside of that circle without you seeing it through the front. So I think, you know what, we'll put it on anyway, okay? And we'll just go all the way around here. Now, whatever cards we make today at 6 o'clock tonight, we're going to give them away. So tonight we'll have a code for you, and we'll do the cards, and then we'll throw some points in as well. I'm being brave today. So that's going to go onto there like that. So let's build up this part now. Now, you can't do this with all letters, and it will depend on the size. And I just need to get my tweezers out of here. Now I know where they are. Not taking me on. There we go. Right, so I'm going to put mum on first. So for this, I brought on the letters, right? So the letters that we designed. Now, was I going to do it this way? No, I was going to do yellow first. So I put this on here and I was like, yeah, it's nice, but it kind of sinks into the yellow behind, which actually by the time I built it up, I might quite like, but I wanted to show you the other bit as well. So we've got M, U and M, like this. So I'll just pop that on there. I don't know I ever worked without reverse tweezers, and they honestly, the amount of convincing I took to try them. Don't like tweezers, don't want to work with them. Honestly, I'm terrible sometimes. Well, most of the time, to be fair. I'm like, nah, don't get it. That's why you know that whenever I bring you something, it's really good. Right, we're going to do that. Now then, I created a 1mm inward offset line of those letters. Now, don't expect this to work with every font, because it won't, and it won't work if it's too tiny, but look how fine it's cut that line there, and it's cut it with precision. You could not get that fine with a die because of the manufacturing process. It's impossible. The closest we can get is the ones that we get with our extra fine fundamentals, because we put a cutting edge, when they nest, we put a cutting edge on the inside of one, and then the next one down, we put it on the outside. That's the closest you can get. But the detail with this machine is absolutely incredible. And if you're in the market for one, right now, we've got those two great deals on for you. And actually, by the time you've taken off your discount, I mean, taking off the points that you're going to get back, etc., etc., either of them is a good deal. It depends whether you want Disney and whether you want the calligraphy starter kit. And if you do, or if you just want the calligraphy starter kit, because I think that's about £70 on its own, because it comes with the tools that you need and the pens, it's worth looking at, that's for sure, without a doubt. Because you've got all that content too, you know. So just thinking about, if you bought, let's think about this logically, and let's be not too conservative, let's be realistic. If you bought all of the, just let me get that straight, otherwise it'll annoy me. If you bought all of these patterns as stencils, let's say they were 6x6 stencils, and they were, I don't know, £4 each. That's £240. Is that right? No, it's not. 30, 3, 6. Yeah, it is. £240, right? And then you bought all of those as nested shapes. Let's say, well, you've got 30 there. Let's say they're £10 a set. That's £540 that you've just spent on those in different sizes, but not hundreds of different sizes. And those are stencils in that size. You can do card fronts, you can put those in any shape, you can weld shapes to them. All of that you can do for £12.50. But you've just bought yourself a ScanNCut for £540 and you've got change in your pocket. That's the deal, right? And it doesn't matter which one you get, because after the time you've taken your points off, etc., it still comes right down in price. It's really, really worth thinking about. And if you're sitting there going, oh yeah, but I won't be able to work it, Mel, I'm not technical. I'll tell you what, anybody in this business right now, if I said to them, what am I like? And it's usually at a show. It's usually when we're out on the road and Carl's with us, and I'll go, Carl, it's like, I'm busy. I'm like, please, just a minute. What am I like on a computer? And he just does this. Don't need to know about, you don't need to understand technology, you don't need to understand a computer to use it. You can literally, there are 13 free classes on YouTube teaching you right from the beginning. Right, so we've now got, so we used a matte layer, then we created the letters, and then we created a 1mm inward offset. So it looks super, super, super fine. Then we're going to start to build all our flowers. So I cut these out and I cut them with the regular reflection and the reverse reflection. Okay, is that all I've got? 1 minute 20? Good grief. I'm chatting along, just merrily, just going about my business, blinking out. That's gone really fast. Right, 6 o'clock tonight. I'm going to show you. We've done gatefolds before, haven't we? Where you split a shape and then weld it. I'm going to do it differently tonight. Do not miss 6 o'clock tonight. So I've done regular reflections and then I've done reverse reflections, and I'm just tucking them in. So the reason that I chose this pattern was because it looked a bit like a trellis, and I like the idea of the flowers growing up the trellis. Oh yeah, we have got another show after this, haven't we? So I can't carry on. I just had to look then. I'm like, if it's 2 o'clock, but it's not. We won't get away with that. I think whoever's coming up next will be like, excuse me, my turn. And then we're going to do that. And then that, ooh, I'll stick it all down properly before we come back, is going to go on there like that. And that would be your card. I will do this properly and I'll decoupage it up and everything for you. But how pretty is that? And I wanted to just come on and do cards from start to finish, all of it, just with those 2 downloads today. And that's just 2 of them, you know, another different pattern and a different shape than the one we did this morning. So when we come back tonight, I'm going to show you how to make a gatefold card. And I'm very excited. 3:30 this morning, that idea came to my head. Right, I'm going to go and get myself some lunch and then get prepped for 6 o'clock. You have a lovely afternoon. Take care. See you soon. Bye.